I want to thank Bobby Mananash, because actually I didn't exist before Bobby Mananash invented me. Both of us are creations of the media. So thank you, Bobby, wherever you are. Some people sort of ask me why I sing songs in between my talks. Well, when I was being taught by Debbie Nordine, and I was taking singing lessons, she told me I wasn't ready for a concert yet, for a separate concert. And seeing all the talented singers, I agree with her. So we decided that I could sing a song in between my talks. And there's another reason in the middle of my talk, another reason I do that is sometimes I run out of things to say. So a song fills the gap. So instead of filling the gaps with perhaps inappropriate songs, which sometimes happens in my enthusiasm, if I run out of things to say, I like to call for questions. Now, in case I get rolling and I don't run out of steam, and don't call for questions, keep your questions pending, and we can talk later on afterwards and answer your questions. Who is Meher Baba? Why has he come? He's come to give us grace. Meher Baba is the Lord of the universe. He has come to give his love to his creation. He's come to pour his love on us. No one exists but Meher Baba. He alone exists. He has come to awaken himself in us. He's come to give his love to himself in us. Only Meher Baba exists. And when he declares his divinity, he's declaring our divinity. Because he is divine, because he is the Christ. We are the Christ within, but we're not conscious of it. Baba's come to give us his experience. He shares our consciousness. And he's come to, and he invites us to share his consciousness. This is all a dream. This is all his love. Speaking of dreams, I had a dream once. And in this dream, I was surrounded somewhat like this. In fact, suddenly, this is very reminiscent of the dream. And I was surrounded like a semicircle like this, with all my friends, my not-so-friends, my relatives, everybody I knew in the past, somehow people I would know in the future, and they were all there, like this. And each one bent down, and they removed their face as if it was a mask. And underneath the mask was Baba's face.
Wow. Wow.
Baba's smiling face, loving face, and each person. And the look he was looking at me with, he didn't say anything, because it was he and all these people, and all these children, adults, women, old men, everybody in my life, everybody in the future, everybody. And it was intermission during the play. And he was asking me, you know, through his look, through all these people, how did I like the play? How did I like it? You know, he was like keen, interested to know that I really enjoyed the play that was going on. I recall being disappointed that it was only intermission, that the play wasn't over with. And I've told the story a number of times to my friends, and I realize that the play will be over with when I remove my Jack Small mask. And each one of us have to remove the mask of our false self. How to love Baba? Let him love us. He is the ocean of love. He's come to pour our grace. Kitty Devi once said that Baba told her that we would experience his love more after he dropped the body. Kitty said that we will experience His love to the degree we allow ourselves to experience His love. Baba is constantly pulling at us. We're constantly resisting His love. He wants to give us His love. He is the Lord of the universe. He has come to give us His love. No one is closer to Baba than anyone else. We're all equal distant from Baba in our hearts. It's only our thinking. We think we are far from Baba. We think we haven't met Him, that we haven't lived with Him. That's why we think we're apart from Him. That's why we don't feel His love. It's not that He's not giving it to us. We're holding back. He loves us. He wants us to let go and give us His love. And all the calamities of the world that seem to call upon us, they are nothing more than His grace. Erich once said to me when I was in a particularly difficult situation, when I had nowhere to turn, everywhere I seemed to go, I felt pain, I experienced pain. There was no one for me. And he said, I was very fortunate. Because when there's nowhere to go, and you grab the walls everywhere, they're slippery, and you're grabbing hold, you're trying to find some security, some hold in the world. And there's nowhere to go, you have no choice but to go inwardly. I'd like to share a story that happened to me that helped me realize that Baba's love alone matters, nothing else matters. I was in India once as a pilgrim. I think this was 1973 or 74. Is Jacko here? He played a very important part of the story. And at the time, prior to that, the Manli had shared with me many treasures, personal belongings of Baba's. I've been fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. They had shared with me, by that time I had, believe it or not, 3 pairs of Baba's sandals, 5 or 6 sadras, Baba's tooth, Baba's coat, 2 coats, a set of pants, his nails, and different personal things of Baba's, which I was sharing. They had given it to me to share with Baba's lovers. And I remember, I was pretty attached to my being the one to do this. I prided myself in doing this, and having these treasures. I remember sometimes I would sit alone in my room in America, and I would just sort of surround myself with all these personal treasures and meditate and try to absorb Baba's love through them. And so I remember Mani was talking to Jacko about a curl of hair, a big curl of hair, I guess a pigtail, something like that, of Baba's hair. And he was giving her advice on what could be done to preserve it. After Jacko left the conversation with Mani, I said to Mani, Mani, I've already studied this. And I reminded her of the different things that the other Mani had given me, and I think I could do a better job. I could take care of this better than Jacko. I mean, he loves Baba, he's very dedicated, but I think I could do a better job. And so Mani said, fine. So she gave this to me. I put it away very carefully, along with other treasures that I took back to the West. So my plan was to have it encased in solid plastic. And so when I got to the West, I was there for a month or 2. One morning, maybe 3 or 4 months, about 2 a.m. in the morning, I suddenly woke up. And I said to myself, where's that curl of Baba's hair? And I started looking throughout all my things in my apartment. I couldn't find it. I said, it must be here. Where could it be? Suddenly, just in the middle of the night, I just woke up. Where's Baba's hair that the Manli had given me? And I couldn't find it. I had not loaned it to anybody because I had to put it in this case. And I started thinking, where could this be? You see, my dilemma was I had to return it the next year on my next trip to India. Nothing else that the Manli had given me did I have to account for. I didn't sleep all night long. I tried to figure out where is this hair? I called friends that I could have loaned it to, but I knew I didn't loan it to anybody. I called the airline. 3 months later, describing a little plastic box, you know, where it could have been, and lost and found, and there was no such thing. There was a Baba lover who was going to India right away, and I had stayed at Nirgish's apartment. She had this little flat in Bombay where Baba lovers used to stay, and I asked her, I had kept my things under the bed, so I asked her to go look under the bed 3 months later, you know, and I was, please phone me, collect if you found it. And I started to get very nervous. Thank you. And I started to, you know, I had other things I was dealing with in my life, as everyone else does, but I couldn't forget about this curl of Baba's hair. And I tried to put it out of my mind. I said, no, I know Baba will find it. He'll help me find it. And, you know, days go by, weeks go by. I'm becoming obsessed. Where is this curl of hair? And I call it Phyllis, and she guides me to a psychic. To, you know, this is how desperate I am, to try to find this. And I'm saying, I try to describe it, and she says it's in sort of a dark place, you know, very vague. It could be anything. I go to somebody that does tarot cards, you know, to try to get help. I'm getting very anxious about this, and I'm trying to put this out of my mind. And then I pick up an Awakener, and I'm reading the Awakener, and it talks about at the East-West gathering where Baba had Mera show the Westerners the special curl of Baba's hair. This was it. I had this. I had it. I don't know where, didn't know where it was. And I pick up another book with a reference to the same thing. You know, months are going by, and no matter what's going on in my life, I'm thinking constantly, what happened to this hair? And I imagine going back to India, facing the mandala. Now here was involved with Mayor Prasad, Mayor Laher. I had all these treasures, I had all this Baba work, and I was really proud of having this, you know. Here I hadn't met Baba. Look at all the things they entrusted me with. And I could just see it that all dissolved. Like I felt I would go before the mandali and I'd be court-martialed. I could just see, you know, all these Baba projects that I've been working for years on being taken away. I imagine, because this has happened in Baba's time, Baba at certain times has cut somebody off for their own well-being and sent telegrams to all his lovers to have nothing to do with this person. So I imagine cables going out to all of Baba's lovers, you know, have nothing to do with Jack Small. Everything I had built up, my whole value system in terms of all the outward Baba projects, everything I was doing was dissolving before me. And time was going by. I didn't want to go to India again, but I had all these plans to go to India. And, you know, months were going by. I was getting closer. And I was finally at the bottom of this, at the bottom of despair. And, you know, I imagine all these horrible things happening. All these things happening. And then I realized at the bottom of this, in spite of everything, Baba loved me. His grace was there. His love was there. Nothing else mattered. Let that all be gone. Let me be cut off from the Baba world. Let me be ostracized forever. All the things I valued, I had Mayor Baba. And then one day in my office, I had a file cabinet there. I go to the file cabinet, and I'm looking for something. It's a cabinet where I'm storing things. I stand up, pull out the file cabinet, and in the back is the plastic container holding the ponytail of Baba's hair. And I was so empty by that time. Nothing else mattered. And I knew I had Baba. I knew I had his grace. Jai Baba, Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba Ki Jai. There's a little story I'd like to share. Last night, Bobby Manoj showed us the pool of love in Mehrabad. Well, there's a pool of love in our hearts. I heard this story in Mandalay Hall, and there was this woman who had come to see Baba in the West. And Baba looked at her through an interpreter, perhaps Adi, and he said, "Come closer. I love you. Come close." And she was hesitant, and she didn't want to come close to Baba. And she said, "I'm such a wicked person. I'm such a bad person." "No, Baba." Baba tells her, quote, "Come, I am the ocean. Nothing can pollute me. Come closer and remember one thing, that I have already given you a pool of fresh love. So whenever you feel weak, or that frailties that are there to assault you, dip in that ocean, the little pool of fresh love I have given you. Emerge afresh. Don't think that I am not approachable. I have come in your midst so that you can approach me. When I am in your presence, I make myself approachable." Baba's the ocean of love. The pool of love that He's given to us is in our hearts. That pool of love is available whenever we turn our attention. All we have to look down is deep into our hearts, and His love is there. You may think, well, I haven't met Meher Baba. I haven't been to India, perhaps. I haven't lived with the Mandalay. How can I get close to Baba? This was something that plagued me for years. I asked Bill LePage, who you know, all know, met Meher Baba, and I asked him, what was it like when you met Baba? And he said, the same as when you felt Baba in your heart. And he's right. We may not have that memory of his arms around us, but the feeling that we feel when Gwendolyn said that first moment that we felt his love, that's his darshan. That's his grace, that's his amazing grace. That's the meeting of the heart. We have had his darshan. He loves us. There's a story that Sarosh, Vilu's late husband, tells. It was during, Baba was in Guru Prasad at the time, and two women had come to see Baba. He was not giving general darshan, and one woman from India had come, and one woman from the West had come. Neither one of these women had seen Baba. And it so happened that the time was arranged for them to be there at the same time. And so this one woman from India came, and you know, both women are sitting out in the outside foyer, and one is called in to see Baba. The woman from India is called to see Baba first. And a few minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes go by, and the woman comes out, and you can see how aglow she is. She's just joyful, having had Baba's darshan for the first time. And this gets the other woman from the West, who had traveled this greater distance, this gets her very excited and just charged. You know, she's about to see Baba. And she's about to walk in, and then she hears a clap. And she's told to wait a moment. Erich goes in to see Baba. And a moment later, a message comes out to the woman, and Erich asks, says, Baba wants to know, do you love him? She said, yes. He said, will you obey me? Oh, yes, I'll obey Baba. Baba wants you to go home. And her face just turns ashen white. And she's stunned, she's shocked. She had been so close to seeing Baba. And she loves Baba, and she just turns away. She can't believe what has happened. And everyone else there is stunned. The Mandalay themselves don't know what happened. They can't understand what happened. They see clearly this woman loves Baba. She's come all this great distance. And Sarosh later on asked Baba, why did you do this? I mean, he had that relationship with Baba, intimate relationship, that he could question Baba. He said, You saw the first woman, and this other woman, you didn't see her? Why didn't you see her? It was so simple. She was right there. Her heart was broken. And Baba said, yes, her heart was broken. The first woman that saw me was indeed fortunate to have seen me. But this second one was more fortunate. Because her heart was broken, I will enter her heart even deeper. She will come closer to me, to that longing. This story meant so much to me because I almost saw Baba. And whether you came to Baba around that time or you came to Baba yesterday, still you can't help feel that within your lifetime you could have seen Baba. But he knows what he's doing. He knows what we need. He knows the love that we need, and he knows how to give us his love. This reminds me of a story of Gulmai, Adi's mother. The story she tells, she says they were in Quetta. Quetta is now part of Pakistan, but it was considered Greater India at the time. And they were on the ground. They had a 2-story house, and they were on the ground floor. And when she was passing, there was an intercom telephone between. This was around 1923, 24, very early days. And she was walking past the phone, and it rang. She picked it up. And it was Baba on the other side talking to her. Baba was upstairs. He was still speaking. And he said, "Oh, Baba, it's you." And she said, and Baba said, "Yes, it's me." And he said, "Can you see me?" And she said, "No, but I can hear you." And he said, "Remember, even though you can't see me, as long as we're connected, you can hear me, you can feel me." I'm very impressed after having come to California after 15 years about these cellular telephones, and I hear they're going to have something that's international around the world soon, that you can pick up a phone anywhere. Well, we don't have to wait for that. We can just tune into the telephone of our own heart, and Baba's there. All we have to do is call out to him. All we have to do is ask him for his love, and his love is there. But you see, we have to do our part. Our part is to turn within and say, "Baba, help me." If we're so desperate, if we can't reach him, if we can't even call out and find out where to look, ask his help to help find out. He is the Christ. He's the Lord of the universe. He's come to give us his love. Nothing matters but his love. And if we want nothing but his love, he will give us this experience of his love. Mani tells another story. She says that one time she was reading to Baba in Baba's room. Mara was there and the other Mandali were there. And as she was reading the story, it was a P.G. Woodhouse story that she had read to Baba before. And as she was reading it to Baba, slowly Baba, he was inclined, his eyes closed, and she could see that he was starting to fall asleep, and he was falling asleep. And she stopped, because it was a favorite part of, he had liked this particular phrase before, this particular paragraph before, and so she didn't want him to miss it. Baba immediately woke up, looked at her, and said, "Why aren't you reading?" Oh, and she said, "Oh, but I thought you were asleep." No, I was awake. Even though my body may be asleep, I was hearing. And she said, "Okay, Baba." So they start to read again, and a few minutes later again, Baba starts to apparently snooze, and she looks at the other women, Mandali, and they nod to each other. And she's convinced Baba's asleep now. They all look at each other, yes, so they should stop now, let Baba sleep. She stops, and she stops, Baba looks and says, "Why didn't you read? Why aren't you reading?" He says, I thought you were asleep, Baba." He says, "No, I was hearing." So she was very naughty. She says, "Well, what did I read to you, Baba?" And Baba repeats what she read. And word by word. And as she told the story later on, she realized it was a discourse. That Baba may seemingly be asleep, but he's always listening. He's always hearing. He was always there. It's we who think he's asleep. It's we who are not paying attention. Baba wants us to be consciously aware of Him at all times. He said that His love is everywhere. He's constantly giving His love, but we have to make an effort to be conscious of His love. We have to remember to think of His love as of His presence. We have to value His presence more than we do anything else. We have to value His grace. How do we get that grace? How do we get that presence? Don't we like to be around people that remember us? Don't we like to, anybody that flatters us and tells us good things about us and tells us how wonderful we are and praises us? We like to be around that person. We want more, don't we? Baba's the same way. If you tell him how wonderful he is, how much you love him, how beautiful he is, how happy you are with him, even when he seemingly gives you pain and suffering and gives you lemonade in your ice cream, if you thank him for everything, if you appreciate, if you take everything that's coming from him and praise him and appreciate him, his love will be in the middle of the pain. His love will be there. His presence will be there. He's just like us. He wants us to remember him and appreciate him just like we are with each other. If we can't find him, if we can't experience his love, take it down to our human level. How do we experience love for each other? We start talking about the person, we start remembering the person, we repeat his name, and his love and his presence will be there. We have to invite him into our hearts. We have to welcome him. He's here. We have to invite him. We have to be happy and joyful when he comes.